Shalom, shalom. Call halal yamla. YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone to teach you move well. Peace and salutations be to the Lord elect. Blessed house, I'm coming at you from the province of Babylon, camping in Tampa, Florida. This lesson is going to be going into the End Time Headlines article. It says steak prices are about to soar as restaurants battle cattle shortage. I'll slow that down, Salakia. Steak prices are about to soar as restaurants battle cattle shortages, quote unquote, cattle shortages. So they're battling a shortage of cows. Okay, basically the farmers are battling a shortage of cows. So there's not much meat distribution being sent out. A few months ago, they were talking about how this, whatever the hell it was, bird flu could spread to the cows. There could be a shortage of meat and beef because of the bird flu. But now they're saying there's an actual shortage on cows. So you see the agenda here. You see the message. They're trying to, they're trying to orchestrate a famine. Burnt down all these chicken warehouses. All of a sudden, they short on eggs because of the bird flu. Now they short on cattle. Like, how the fuck? It's not really clicking, Yeah, the cows ain't fucking no more. Or something ain't right. Somebody killing the cows. Somebody ain't selling. So something's not going right in America, and it could be the Lord really smiting them. Okay, with the lack of cattle and the lack of chicken but it says here, in recent months, steak lovers across the United States have faced a harsh reality. The cost of their favorite cuts is climbing, and experts warn that relief may not be on the horizon. Now they got the egg prices, they're dropping down, supposedly. It went from $8 and some change to $4 now. All right, but they're saying relief from the cattle shortage is not on the horizon. What does that mean? That means that it's not going to get cheaper anytime soon. It's probably going to get more expensive, if anything. A combination of shrinking cattle supplies and rising operational costs has sent beef prices to unprecedented levels, leaving restaurants and consumers grappling with the fallout. It says the root of the issue lies in a significant reduction in cattle numbers. According to a report from CNBC dated October 25th, 2023, beef prices had already hit record highs due to a dwindling, which means a shrinking, a dwindling cattle supply, a trend that has only intensified into 2025. Market analysts cited by CNBC attribute this shrinkage to a combination of drought conditions in key ranching stages like Texas and Oklahoma, which have reduced grazing land, and a wave of rancher and retirements with fewer young farmers stepping in to replace them. So you got these farmers retiring as well. All right, all these excuses for a lack of beef. Okay. It says the cattle herd is at its lowest level in decades, one expert told CNBC, noting that rebuilding the population could take years. All right. These cows are only getting eaten more and more every day, They're only being consumed more and more. The consummation of beef is not dwindling, but growing. All right. But the output of cows is dwindling. Okay. That means shortage on milk, shortage on dairy, on cheese, on your ice cream, your beef. And all these things, you can see all these things, an increase in all these things on the shelves quite soon, if that is the case. Okay. Let's grab some scriptures on that. Touching bases on the ranchers retiring. It says in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 3, "In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble," all right, and these ranchers and these farmers, they are the keepers of the house. All right, they keep the house going because they're constantly supplying it with food, supplying it with cattle, okay, pork, chicken, whatever. They got the cattle, the herds, the stock, the animals. All right, and that's what's being put on the shelves for the whole country to eat. If there was no keepers, all right, if there was no ranchers, no farmers, no there's no food on the shelves, right? Guess what happens? These people are going to destroy each other. These people are going to get down and busy with each other because there's no food. And people got to eat. And they're going to get their food from somewhere, okay? And if they can't get food from anywhere, what they going to do? They're going to begin to eat each other because these people are consumers. And you're going to see that actually manifest. They not only consume food, but they consume media. They consume drama, all right? They consume products. They consume everything that you put in their face. That's why they are called consumers. They labeled you consumers. You're nothing more than a mere consumer. That's what they think about you, man. All right? Because all you do is you get your paycheck and you go and spend it on something. You go and buy something. Consume, consume, consume. Okay? So they got you all in the same box. It says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few. All right, these workers are becoming few. All right, these grinders are just what? Workers. They're gonna be few workers. There's already few farmers, few ranchers. All right. The work about to stop, man. All right, there's a whole lot of work to do, not enough workers. It says, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. It ain't gonna be no joy going on in here. Ain't gonna be no more blasting music in the streets and having drag races, okay, drifting races and car events and parties and wild parties and club events. All this shit's gonna be shut down, man. People gonna close their doors. If you ever see one of the old movies with those towns, those little towns in the desert or whatever, in the middle of the desert or some shit, okay, and someone dangerous comes through there, and you see everybody shut the door in the streets, and everything gets quiet, and it's almost like a ghost town because everybody's quiet and in their house and looking out the window. That's what's gonna happen to America, man. Okay, that's what's coming to America. I'm gonna grab this. In the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 20. Verse 22, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. So full storehouses is going to be out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, these full storehouses are going to be emptied. Okay? One day they just ain't gonna get their shipments, and they ain't gonna never get them again after that. These people gonna go in those stores and see the 24 pack of waters on the shelf costs $240 for a 24 pack. All right, and that's gonna be the last waters you're getting out of that shop. Okay, the dollar is collapsing and getting weaker as we speak. And as the day grows old, the dollar is getting weaker. All right, so eventually it's not gonna have the same value. What that means is, what originally costed $1 is going to cost you $10, because now the $1 has only 10% of its value. All right, so you're gonna end up spending a whole lot of money quite fast. You're gonna end up using up all your savings. There's a video about a family, a middle class. I wouldn't say middle class, a high-end middle class family. They got their cars, they got their kids, and dance recital and whatever. It's a video on YouTube about how do I say it? How do I say it? I wouldn't say it's a skit, but it's a kind of like an analogy. I'll just say a simulation. It's a story about what would happen, but it basically goes into how this family, they had all this wealth, and then the economy just suddenly collapsed, and they end up spending everything and losing everything. They were facing hyperinflation, and they ended up losing everything, man. Okay, and it's the reality of things. People love to say, damn, that's like something you see in the movie. Well, art imitates life. It's something you see in the movie because it happened before. The scriptures say there's nothing new under the sun, and the Lord requireth the thing that is past. So the things that happened before come up again. That's why you're seeing movies about it. Man, it look like something that happened in a movie. I ain't never seen nothing like that happen in real life. Well, guess what? Get ready to start believing, nigga. If you don't believe it, get ready to believe. All right? We're coming to a time where everybody gonna believe. Okay? There's gonna be so much going on that they're gonna believe that anything could happen at this point. And right when they're in the deepest depths of their despair, and they don't know what to do, they're ready to end their own lives, the Lord gonna crack the sky. And then judgment really gonna come. It says, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall suddenly be afraid, or they shall be suddenly afraid. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. All right? The Lord gonna put a spirit out on the earth for people to just be killing and destroying each other, stripping each other of their resources, stripping each other of their own lives. Okay? And you're going to be looking like, why are people doing this to each other? Why is this happening? Well, the Lord got the power to put the spirit on you to do what he wills. Okay? And you can't really do anything about it. Scriptures say, for who hath resisted his will? The Lord put a spirit on King Nebuchadnezzar to become like a beast, eating the grass in the field, man. Lost his understanding, lost his reasoning. All right? Hair grown thick like an animal, nails grown thick like eagles. Eagle talons. Okay? And then the Lord restored his understanding to him and his reasoning. He got back up on his feet and went back to ruling his kingdom. The Lord brought a king to the form of a beast to prove that the Lord can set anybody up over the earth. He ruleth in the kingdom of men, and he setteth up over it the basest of men. Okay? But that's just going to show you that the Lord can put the spirit on you to do anything. Lord had a spirit on you out here thinking that you fucking high priest poobah and shit, man. So like, you forget my French. But the Lord put a spirit on you thinking that you the highest priest, okay? That you the strongest man in the world that ever lived. The Lord will have you thinking that you are him, that you are God. The Lord will have you thinking that you're an angel or a demon, you know, or a monster, you know. The Lord will bug you out in your mind. You don't understand what kind of world the Lord can put you in your mind alone. Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape. And the Lord said, whoever remains from all these things that are coming. That means a lot of people's going to die. That's a great number of people who are going to die. That the scripture had to say whoever remains, who's ever left over after this great slaughter. It says, whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world, which is only going to be the elect. Scriptures say, like as a wave is greater than a drop. Many are going to perish, and few are going to be saved. Scriptures say, he that endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. All right, so you got to have good endurance. You see these old people jogging to build their endurance so that they can extend their lifespans. But you need to be jogging in this truth. You need to be running the race, okay, and hoping to finish, that you may obtain the crown, you know. We're trying to obtain an incorruptible crown. These old people just want to live a little longer, but we're trying to live forever. Okay, so there should be no pressure for you to keep striving in this truth, man. All right, they're about to come with it with famine and pestilence and all sorts of diseases. Okay, and you just got to be ready to take it on the head, man. You know, do not fear. If you get afraid, you're going to start getting affected by these plagues. But if you believe in the Lord, YAHAWASHI, you will not be affected. Okay? The Lord said he hath great care for his elect. So, if you know you're doing what you got to do for the Lord, you shouldn't be worried. Call HALAL, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, truly this experience that lesson was edifying to your acumen, who listen to truth and sincerity. Till next time, Yisrael, I say shalom.